Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. In today's episode, I have a very special guest with us. I have Adam Gerstin. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
Good. Hey, how are you?
I am fantastic. It's a beautiful sunny day in Las Vegas. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. It's a pretty sunny day here in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. So, Adam, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. My name's Adam Gerstin. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm doing a startup right now. It's called LFG Nexus. LFG stands for looking for group, looking for game, looking for get together. And what we're trying to do is help. We're creating a social media platform for gamers.
Certainly. Okay, and we're going to get into that, quite extensively here. But before I begin, I start every podcast with a single question. I ask everybody this, just kind of a fun question to get us started. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Adam, 10 being high, how weird are you?
I'm a bit weird. I'm not that much more. If the average person is, let's say, maybe a 5, I don't know, maybe a 6 or 7. I don't think I'm like super weird, but maybe a little bit more than the average person.
And why would you say that?
I'm kind of really into gaming. I've been LARPing, if you're familiar with that, for about 25 years now. I just like different things and than everybody else based upon just the likes of my friends. Usually I take things a little bit further.
Certainly. Okay. So maybe we'll talk about LARPing a little bit, but let's talk about you as a gamer, because this is the Gamerpreneur. I want your gaming cred before we really get into it. So when did you first start playing video games?
So now to be honest, I'm going to date myself. Like I was born like in the mid 70s. So, I grew up and I had an Atari 2600 by the time I was 5 or 6. So I got started there. Went on to Nintendo, had an Apple IIe by the time I was 10 or 12, roughly somewhere around there. So I've kind of been into video games pretty much since the start, really.
Okay, wonderful. So you've kind of had the whole gamut of games. What's your favorite genre? I still like MMOs, they pretty much died, but kind of with the resurgence of WoW and WoW Classic coming back, that's definitely one of my favorites. Additionally, I like fighting games. Back when I was in high school, I went to the arcade like every day, and this is basically when Street Fighter 2 came out, and that was really good, Street Fighter 2. In fact, I go to game conventions now, and they usually have like the free version they have it on free play, and they let people play, and I usually beat everyone I play against. Oh man, I could never get used to the joystick while playing that, and like 6 buttons. I don't got enough fingers for that.
Exactly. So that's my problem. I hate playing it on like a console, just because I need the 6 buttons. I'm used to that. So that's been my struggle trying to play it on other types of console games.
Well, if you look it up, I'm fairly certain you could find a joystick button thing to plug into your system.
True, they do. I mean, they're not cheap. I think I'm seeing them around $200 or so.
Oh man. Well then. So what's your favorite game of all time then? You've basically played them all.
Still, it's probably still World of Warcraft. I still just really liked it. I had a lot of fun with it when it first came out and when I played, and we were doing the 40-man raids and stuff like that, and it was just there was so much companionship and camaraderie and competition even with it.
I absolutely agree. No, that's pretty much why I played it as much as I did. And like, I'd be the guy who just circled the city because I had nothing better to do other than chatting with people. That was the main point of playing it, was to be able to chat with people. So Hoard or Alliance?
So to be fair, we played Alliance, but that's because one of my friends was just would not play Hoard. And he was like, oh, I don't want to stare at these, ugly things all day. It's going to get me depressed. So we wanted to play Alliance. But kind of since him and some of my other friends kind of faded out, I've been going back and forth.
Okay. Hey, no, there's no hate here. And Alliance.
I really prefer Hoard, to be honest. But I did play Alliance.
All right. So that's fantastic. I'm sure we'll kind of bring up some of those things you did, because I basically learned business while playing Warcraft. And the book I wrote is called The Warcraft of Business. And it was my time explaining how I was a guild leader, raid leader, main tank, all the lessons that you kind of get going from a shy person to
to having to do all that. And so I'm sure we'll get some chatting on that while we're going. So can you tell me about your professional background? Get to the preneur part of this.
Sure. So, I'll be honest, I did a lot of different things when I was younger. And then basically about 10 years ago, just everything went belly up in 2009 or 2008, 2009. At that point, what I was doing, I was a loan processor. I was helping franchisees get money to start their franchise. And the problem was, all the businesses or all the capital just got dried up. Nobody was lending any money right then when everything happened. So I had to find something new. And from there, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I couldn't find a job, just anything. And I wound up being able to take some courses on web design, web development. And so I went ahead and took these courses. I learned how to be a web designer. And then from there, I started building websites. And then I realized that as much as after I built a website, I had to be a salesperson to get the next website. So I actually started learning more of SEO and search engine optimization. From there, I realized, oh, look, I could just charge people monthly for it, and I didn't have to be as much of a salesperson. I sell them once, I keep them in good health, their websites, and I just, keep going. And so I've been really doing SEO, and then from there, I learned Facebook ads, Google AdWords. I'm working on chatbots right now, and so I have my own little digital marketing agency.
Fantastic. So before we kind of get into it, let's talk chatbots. I love chatbots. My wife built an MLM business in 1 month. She had like 33 people sign up in India using chatbots.
Wow.
Didn't even have to speak the language. Google Translate did it all for us.
That's crazy. So were you using like ManyChat?
ManyChat, yeah. So can you kind of explain what a chatbot is?
So it's kind of an automated way to ask and answer questions and take people through different types of processes, depending on what you're trying to do. So, for example, you can build a chatbot for, let's say, a chiropractor, and you could kind of set up a few initial questions that people tend to have, like, what are your hours, or maybe do like what are the big services that you offer, and from there people can click on the button and it'll give them an automated answer based upon that particular question. Or you can also have something that leads to more kind of not your typical questions that will then be sent to like an operator or directly to like an email where people can ask more questions about it, or that can go directly to a person that is in the know of what's going on. That's something that's not pre-programmed. But if it is something pre-programmed, you can take them through and say, okay, well, here are hours. And then the next thing that comes up is you can be like, hey, would you like to schedule an appointment? Or things to kind of push them to that next level to get them through your process and into your pipeline and maybe even sell them on some sort of product or service.
All right. And are they all that difficult to set up?
Actually, no. They're usually pretty simple or fairly simple. Most of these places, to be fair, I've only used two, really. One was through Facebook Messenger, and it's called ManyChat. We've discussed it. It's pretty simple to do. You can even tag people with different types of tags so that you can email them later based upon their tag. So like if someone came to the chatbot through, obviously through Facebook, but maybe if they're asking certain questions, you might say, okay, well, this is, a chiropractic patient, or this is a dentist patient. And then you can basically sort them into groups and then maybe send out emails just to chiropractors, just to dentists, just to, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with that.
Thank you. That's a beautiful top-level explanation. And I really recommend anybody if you've never heard of a chatbot, it's one of the coolest things. It really is super cool how you can basically automate an entire conversation with someone and then not really realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely. Okay. Yeah, we also used it at another job I worked for where it was more website-based. But as long as you just read the script of kind of what comes next and you could kind of predict some of the things they say, you could take them through your process.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us about LFG Nexus.
So LFG Nexus is a social media platform that we're building for gamers. And what we're doing is we're trying to take and give people a better place to come to and talk to one another and not have all the noise or just the craziness of some of the social media platforms that are currently out there. Right now, there's just a lot of divisive stuff going on. We're trying to stay away from that and just kind of keep it more relative to gaming. What we're looking to bring into LFG Nexus, or who rather, is any type of gamer. So even if you're a writer or an artist, if you're a board gamer, if you play Magic the Gathering or tabletop games like D&D, Shadowrun, just the whole genre, as well as into the esports as well. So we're not just esports. We're really trying to pull everybody in, because there isn't a real good place to get answers or to meet people and talk to people. And part of LFG Nexus is the whole looking for group, which is where the LFG comes from. Again, World of Warcraft reference, or at least that's where I first started with LFG. So what we're trying to do is bring people in, bring in merchants, bring in other stores that might be gaming related in your area. So imagine if you could wake up again, one Saturday or Sunday morning and be like, I don't know what I want to do today. And you could come into our system and take a look and see a map of all that's basically like a Google map with different colored pins that would basically say, these are different events that are taking place today. And then you can get involved into your local gaming community. And whether it's to go to a store, maybe there's a tournament, maybe there's a LARP, maybe there's, just be aware of everything that's going on so you get as engaged or not engaged as you like. Additionally, help find other groups of people that are playing games that you want to play. So there's a lot of people, here, I'm kind of fortunate here in Atlanta. There's one place and they have a couple hundred people at their game store on certain nights. And, not everybody has that. In fact, most people probably don't. So what we want to do is we want to help build this community of gamers to find other gamers to play with and just meet, connect, and, socialize. So for example, we just started talking about World of Warcraft based on completely different experiences, but on the same game. And so we can kind of relate at least on some level. And so we're trying to help people, just get more involved in the gaming world and the community and just, get more out of it.
Okay, that's so cool. So normally people would start a business like this because they see a need in the community. Is it really that hard out there for us gamers to like connect with our own, so to speak?
I think it's getting easier. If you are to look at what's going on in what's now mainstream, which has, obviously continues to change, but with Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, all these things, all of this geek culture or gamer culture stuff is now becoming mainstream. So it's starting to become a little bit more accessible to people. But at the same time, it wasn't too long ago where people were still kind of a little bit ashamed if they played certain games. Like you wouldn't know if your next door neighbor played those games because they were kind of, a little hush-hush about it. Or I've got another friend that, he's been LARPing for 10 or 15 years. And he dreads having that conversation with some new girl that he meets. Like, how do I explain I'm a LARPer? So, I definitely think that there's still a need for people to be able to find one another and have these build relationships and have these friendships. Most of my friendships that I've had, right after high school where I started LARPing, and probably about 85% of my friends currently, 25 years later, are from those LARPs. So I think that there's still definitely a need for people to connect and, find one another and enjoy gaming. People love gaming.
Absolutely. You got to find your tribe. So exactly. Where at in the process is LFG Nexus? Is it live?
So we do have what we call an alpha out there. If you just go to lfgnexus.com, there's a little button that says click to go to the alpha. And in the alpha, it works completely. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It works great. It's basically, a place very similar to, other types of social media where you can log in, create groups, create pages. You can post events. You can chat with people. It even has like GIFs and stuff like that. It's a very complete system. You can find other people that are local to you. And so that's definitely a very complete and place for people to go. The reason why we call it alpha is because at this point, we're still trying to add a little bit more of the gamer flavor onto it. And once we do that, we'll be in what we call the beta. Now, we actually have our developers working. We should probably have something in about 2 or 3 weeks that will take us into the beta phase. And that's where you'll see the actual looking for group system working, as well as this whole map system that I talked about earlier, where you can find local businesses and, get involved in your local community, as well as build pages, build blogs, there's forums, there's marketplaces. So all of that will be done within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Or should be done in the next couple of weeks.
All right. So you have a developer doing this. You're not doing this yourself.
So I'm not a developer. I know SEO, I know Facebook ads, I've built websites before, but I am not a developer. I don't get into that level of technical stuff. I could do some stuff, through the SEO and things like that, and redirects and some of the technical audits, but not a developer.
Okay, so what is your role then? I don't mean to like make you put on the spot, but like.
No, that's fine. That's why I'm here. So I'm actually the person that came up with the idea. So it was, my idea of like, hey, why isn't there like just a specific network for gamers? So think of like LinkedIn, where that's specific for business. We want to be specific for gaming. So I bring, a lot of things to the table in regard to, I've run multiple businesses before. With this, it's now kind of my brainchild. I think that if you try to have a non-gamer try to create this, it's not going to work very well. So I feel like, and also my understanding of digital marketing and how we're going to be able to reach out to people, it's really going to bring a lot to the table.
Okay, so
I do have one or two other.
I want to take a moment. I really want to impress the point on my listeners, my viewers, that you're just the idea guy. Like you don't have to be the person who does the work. You just have to be the guy who comes up with the idea and then find the people who does it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Right. So I came up with the idea. I actually have a developer that I work with that I'm not actually using on this project that I've used in the past. And so, I sat down, I came up with a 16-page Google sheet of these are the things I'm looking for. And it's a lot. I went to a couple other professional companies. They're telling me $500,000 to build, $200,000 to build, but I was able to find someone else, and they're doing an amazing job. They're actually fresh out of college, and it's just incredible. But no, I myself, I'm delegating the things that I don't know, but the things that I do know, I honestly do.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's kind of dive into the realm of what you do know, because I'm sure you just have a ton of useful advice that other gamerpreneurs maybe looking to start a business or are currently in a business or a streamer or esports player, the marketing. What do they need to know about marketing? What's like the key 5 things you tell anybody?
Like 5 things. So to be honest, the first thing I'm always going to do is I'm always going to look and see what other people are doing. See the people that got there first and try and figure out how they got there. See if it's a repeatable process, see if it's, worthwhile to go down that road, or was that road done just so long ago that you can't repeat that process.
Okay.
So to me, that's definitely one of the things. Obviously, you got to be different. You got to have your own niche. So, you've got tons of people playing the same games. What's going to make you different? How are you going to be, what's your secret sauce? Why are people going to want to, watch you versus something else? Is it you're funny? Is it maybe you're polarizing? Why do I care? And why am I going to watch you over somebody else? So I think that's definitely some of the things you gotta have to try to understand and kind of come up with. Now I'm not saying they gotta be crazy and completely over the top, but there's also something for being just your own real person, and just being who you are and kind of showing that, because that's what people really like, is they hate fakeness, or people being fake, and they can tell usually pretty quick. So what about you stands out? Why are people going to want to watch you? And that's something you really got to kind of take to heart and really kind of think about, mull over, to make sure that you're doing the right thing, you're going down the right path. That's
very interesting that you when I asked you the question, you came straight to the top level stuff. You got to put yourself out there. It was top level, and you could have said, go to YouTube, because YouTube, you can get video views for 4 cents a view, right? But why is the top level stuff so important?
I just think that that's how you're going to really survive and thrive in this. If you want to be, kind of a one shot or 15-minute wonder, whatever it is, that's just going to be there for a few minutes, or do you want the marathon? Do you want to be there for a long time and be the ninjas of the world that are going to get, millions of dollars and just be around? I think that's kind of what you need to do. You just need to be authentic with people. But you have to have a reason why people are going to watch you.
Okay. So it's the difference between branding and marketing then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what makes you unique? You tell everybody that they need to be unique. What sets them apart? What makes you special? What unique skills do you have?
I think I'm still trying to figure some of them out. I know the digital marketing and things like that. But to be honest, I'm just always like trying to figure out businesses. I just have like one of those minds that just like doesn't stop thinking about a business. Oh, in like every 5 seconds, I'm like, what if I did this, or what if I did that, or what if this is a business? But what makes me different? Well, I think part of it is just taking this risk of trying to build this. Digging into my pocket and trying to leverage some of my social equity to get people on board and interested. From talking to other people, they love the idea, but what makes me unique? I guess that there is only one me, good or bad.
But, okay, so you just mentioned digging into your own pocket, into your social equity. Would you recommend that somebody kind of build that foundation first before trying to start a business, or just start with what they have and then figure it out from there?
You can definitely, I would definitely start with what you have. If you can get, a couple of friends to help you out, to boost you up, definitely use it, but gotta be honest, don't count on them. One of the things that people always say is, your friends know you better usually, but they also have preconceived notions about you. So I've got friends I've known for 25 years, and they're probably going to think of, something that happened like 20 years ago that's no longer me. You got to do it on your own, but, you probably have some people there that will back you up and, help you and try and push you. So if you can leverage that, I would.
Okay. Now, this question is not necessarily directed toward any one thing, but okay. I'll let you kind of answer however you want. What resources are you using or relying on right now? So either software or equipment or individuals, companies, that sort of thing. Okay. And it could be either for marketing, it could be for your current business, whichever.
Sure. I could just answer kind of for both. With the digital marketing, I use, there's something called Ahrefs, SEM, Rush. These are things that will basically kind of help you get an idea of your analytics and what's going on with your website. I'm a big user of ClickFunnels. I love ClickFunnels. I think you might feel similar as well. Mm-hmm. What else do I use? Trello. Trello is great, free, like CRM, or it's it can do a lot of different things, and again, doesn't cost any money. Calendly is another great thing to making appointments, keeping appointments. What else do I use? I use Google Docs.
Thank you so much, because I use Calendly as well, and you just told me that I can integrate Zoom with it, and I've been like sending emails like, here's the link, and had to set it all up myself. So thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. So yeah, and actually there's another one you just run me called Zapier, Zapier. What it does is it interconnects with other software, and that's all it does. It's meant to like build pieces together. So you can use Calendly to work with Zoom, and then I was able to even have it go through Trello, and so basically it would set up different cards in Trello, and then it could do even more stuff too. But to be honest, using Zapier, once it gets to that third thing it's going to do, then they want to kind of charge you, and I really feel like paying for it just right now, right with what I'm currently doing. So, but there's more stuff they can do even further. So there's a lot of different ways to streamline and automate your processes.
Okay.
So definitely take a look at Zapier, and most big programs work through that.
Okay.
As for the LFG Nexus, we just really use a lot of Google Sheets, Google Docs to keep things in order. The system is something that we've had a developer work on, and we'll be using again Zapier to export different types of reporting that we could tell on how often people are coming in, things like that. I use Zoom all the time. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. What other programs do I use? I use Zoom. I do use Screencast-O-Matic. It's like a screen. It'll record your screen. So I think that was like $20 a year or something like that. It's not really expensive. I do also have Camtasia. So those are as well as Photoshop. I don't really use Illustrator, but those are a lot of the programs that I use.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's a lot of helpful tools right there.
Sure. Most of them are actually really cheap too. Something to consider.
Pretty much everything you just mentioned was free. There was only a couple there that were charged.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So can I take you back in time for a second?
Absolutely.
And so, you've come a long way in the past 11 years. In 2008, I graduated from college myself and walked out into the worst recession we've had since the Great Depression. But you were already in business. So if you could go to yourself just as everything fell apart and you said, Adam, in 11 years, you're going to be here. This is what you need to do to 10x that and really build something. What would you tell yourself?
I guess a lot of it would be, sometimes I try to over prepare and be or kind of what you'd consider analysis paralysis. So I'm over analyzing, overthinking things, and sometimes you just have to do stuff and kind of figure it out as you go. And even if it happens for just one customer, one client, that maybe it's a little bit rougher, it's going to help you understand the rest for other clients and for how you push forward with that. So just don't be afraid to jump in. I mean, if you make a mistake, it's not going to be the end of the world. I guess that's just kind of where things are. I think people are just too everything has to be perfect. Don't get me wrong, that's me too. And I'm trying to still kind of get through that myself, but just kind of, it's okay to dive in, and you don't have to have 100% everything taken care of before you take this chance.
Absolutely.
Or before you make that.
I was a lot like you. It's always to that point, I got to do a little more, just a little more. And it just never seemed like it was done until one day I said, I can't do this because it was getting in my way. So I came up with a quick expression. It needs to be done, not pretty. So you can just get it done and don't worry about pretty. Pretty always comes later. You can worry about, iterations later. Just get it done, see how it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, hey, cool. Now you have money to pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that if I had started doing that earlier, that probably would help me tremendously. And to be honest, I'm still kind of working on that as well.
Okay.
Even right now.
All right. So for brand new business owners out there, you got any advice for them?
Sure. One of the things I'm always going to tell you, and I'm sure you're probably familiar with this term, but I would always, what we call ethically hack your competition. See what they're doing, try to understand them. And some of the people that we follow, they'll even tell you maybe even buy their own product. So kind of depending on what you're trying to do with this business, but you're trying to be, an entrepreneur, maybe you're selling something that is already out there, looking to figure out their process. Maybe there's another way that they're making money on the back end that you just haven't realized. Or maybe it could be something just completely just different that you haven't ever, just really look and see what everybody else is doing. And if there isn't something on the market like it, that's great. Maybe there's a particular reason why. Maybe it sounded great to you, but there's some other people that were a little concerned. But definitely, just do your research really. Again, don't over prepare, but just kind of do your research, make sure everything looks good, make sure you have a business plan of, how you're going to actually make money realistically on this. And, just make sure you get the .com version for your website. That's really important. From an SEO guy, I'll tell you, don't go for .net. And I'd be concerned about some of the .ggs. I mean, maybe if you're, doing game stuff, that might kind of work, but you might also want to have the .com version of it as well. So yeah, it's great, be careful, but, still be open to what you're doing. I think that's incredible. I'm a huge fan of getting other people to start their own businesses. I think it's a great idea. That's what, the country's kind of made up on. Absolutely. But, just be a little cautious, but, have an escape plan and, just don't go too crazy at first.
Fantastic advice. That's beautiful advice. Thank you so much. Actually, you mentioned something kind of at the beginning there of your answer that I kind of want to address. So you were saying that you and I kind of learn from the same circles. Like we have that kind of connection on the mentors that we have, at least when it comes to like website building and funnel building. a lot of people nowadays think that you can get everything for free. And it's true. You pretty much can get almost everything for free as in terms of education from like YouTube or Udemy or somewhere else. But I mean, even that Udemy, you pay a few bucks. How important is it to pay for education?
So I think you have to be careful. There's always the whole thing of, you get what you pay for. So sometimes getting a lot of this education for free is only kind of what you're paying for. I think that there are a lot of people that you can learn from that, that you do pay for. Some of those people that we've talked about, I've spent thousands of dollars learning from. And, to me, it was basically paying for like a summer or a semester in college. I mean, it's, kind of some of the price tags that I've paid, but I've just learned so much more from these people that I know and trust that have been through the process. And I see because they're, way up here where, I'm getting started down here. One of the other things, that we talk about or, basically I hope this is okay. That name, Tony Robbins, he does that, decades into days. So he does this program where basically he's going to give you like a decade worth of information in a day. I mean, you can learn a lot from these people that have, been there and done that. And I'm sure that some of them write some free content or that sort of thing. Usually it's kind of a hook or what they call a tripwire into a larger program that you're going to pay for. They'll give you just, it's kind of the drug dealer thing. It's like just enough to kind of get people hooked. But, I'll be honest, I've invested money into these programs, and I personally feel like I've gotten a lot out of it, even if it's things I haven't quite used yet. The knowledge that I've gained, I've also been able to help other people with. And so, I'm glad I did those things and was in a position where, I could pay for these things. There's nothing wrong with learning stuff from YouTube. I do it all the time. It's great. Definitely don't stop learning. But, also keep in mind a little bit of where you're getting your information from.
Sure. And it takes time. It takes time to try to find it on YouTube, to compile it. Maybe the video is not there. You got to figure it out yourself or go to Quora. Maybe there's an answer there. A lot of sales pitches there too, but definitely. And there's lots of free content out there. I went to an event yesterday. Actually, today's the second day, but I skipped it just to have this interview with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I sent my wife instead. She's taking my notes for me. But it's the guy who actually trained Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, Les Brown on sales. Like he's the OG sales guy, and tens of thousands of dollars for his training. But it's absolutely worth it. He guarantees that you're going to make triple your investment in the first year.
True. And that's the other thing is you got to be coachable. You've got to be someone that's going to be willing to listen to what you hear. And these people are going to, it might not make sense at times. Like I don't understand why, you have to go, A, B, C, D, E. Why can't I just go A, B, D, E? And there's reasons behind it, behind these frameworks that they create and try to help you down the path. You might not see it immediately, but they're there for a reason.
Absolutely.
They're not wasting their breath. I promise you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you a little more personally, if we can. I'd like to humble you for a second, if possible. So you've built businesses. You got a current business going on. You've learned digital marketing and sales and website design and all this. It's absolutely fantastic, wonderful. But I want to know what's something that you've failed at in life, because I want everyone to know that you don't have to be perfect. Everybody's screwed up. Everybody's dropped the ball. Mistakes have been made, so to speak.
I mean, I'll be honest, when I was younger, I was horrible about keeping a job. I got addicted to LARPing and I would skip work to go to jobs if it was a job that I worked over the weekend. So for, and this is, when I was probably in my early 20s, so it wasn't like a real significant job. But it's, there's been times I just well, they won't give me the weekend off, so I'm just going to not show up to work and just kind of dealt with it. I'm not sure that's, what else have I failed at?
Hey, I quit a job because they wouldn't let me take the LSAT. I gave them 2 months warning that I had to take it, 1 month warning. I have to have that day off. They scheduled me anyway. I quit.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, okay, LARPing's definitely different than taking the LSAT. But yeah, no, I get it. I'll be honest, there's like a couple of different ideas for businesses that I've tried to build that just like didn't work. I know that we're talking about courses. I built a SEO course. I spent, and this is kind of trying to be over prepared and things like that. I spent probably a good 3 or 4 weeks working on it. I had 35 different videos that I put together. I tried to run, kind of doing the whole perfect webinar sort of pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I did like 4 or 5 webinars that had maybe one person on it. That, and these, I was paying Facebook ads to get them on there, and just it wasn't really actually working. So that didn't really work out. I mean, I still have all the videos and stuff like that. I wrote a it's about 16-page book on how to SEO your website, how to use blogs, and how to get people, just kind of the whole digital marketing thing. I mean, I still have that and I can still apply that. However, trying to build this course to teach people to do SEO just did not work. And so that kind of sucked. I mean, I still have all the assets and stuff like that, but that was a good, easily month and a half that I wound up spending between putting it all together and trying to do the webinars and just trying to push forward. One thing cool that actually came out of it, though, is that I just joined, one of these big groups, and I was spending, it was like almost $2,000 a month for this group, and so actually it was like one of the ClickFunnels things, and so Russell Brunson actually responded to one of my posts on Facebook, and I was like, look, I'm struggling, and he brought the, are you doing the hook story offer and stuff like that, and so that was actually really cool. He himself, or I believe it was him, I don't think someone else, typing it out under his account, but he was actually there trying to help me through the process.
Wonderful.
And so that was really cool. But no, it didn't work out. I failed at that one, and that's actually kind of the whole thing. Is you only have to have one good one.
Mm-hmm. And what you made isn't a loss. You still have all that content. If you made something else and added that as a bonus, that's potentially several $1,000s worth of content there.
Exactly true. So I mean, while it didn't work, it's okay because and this, to be fair, I guess I've probably, there's been a couple of other little businesses I've tried to do like that just haven't worked out. But every time I've learned something either about myself or just about the process. And I think that's the best way that you can help grow yourself and grow, your own experiences that you can, also share with people. I have a 15-year-old daughter. She knows how to build funnels. She knows all this stuff. I make her listen to Russell Brunson with me, or, she's, out there kind of doing her own thing too. And so,
fantastic.
Learning for yourself and also passing it on, I think is important.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful. You're passing it on to the next generation, because I plan on doing the same to my daughter. Like my parents there was no business ownership. There was no entrepreneurship. It was get a job. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely will not be the lesson I teach my daughter.
Awesome. So actually, to be fair, I actually come from a different family. My father's had several of his own businesses. My mother as well. I've got a younger brother. He's a chiropractor. He runs his own business. I've done it too. So at least one point in all of my immediate family's lives, we've had our own business. And kind of, you get to see how that works and how things go. And it's, it's different. Most people kind of come more from get a job, keep it, simple, keep it stable, and do that for your whole life. And, that works for some people. I like the idea of kind of letting it rest on my shoulders and, let me figure these things out. And, I can either succeed or fail on my own. And, if it's okay, I'll fail, I'll learn, I'll share it with people. But that's how you can really test yourself. Absolutely. It kind of goes back to the whole Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, if you ever read that.
Absolutely. That's the book that changed me. That was the one.
Exactly. I actually remember not too long ago, I found the audiobook for like $5 in some bargain bin little thing. I don't know if it was at Walmart or some other store. And so I bought it because I'd heard of it, and I threw it in. It's maybe 6 or 7 hours in the car. It wasn't a big deal. And it just really just kind of hit me. I really just liked it. I like what you're saying. And, it's more about having confidence and belief in yourself that you're going to be able to do these things.
Sure. Like it really, for me, it was the end where he talks about the difference between carrying the buckets and building the pipeline. Once that clicked for me, that you don't have to do the work. I'm like, what? I don't have to do the work? All right. So Adam.
Exactly. Well, so that's it. And that's kind of what you were asking me.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just real quick, you were asking about that earlier. I brought up I had the idea. So how, and I'm not developing it, that sort of thing. It's like, I don't have to. I can do the things that I know well. And then I can outsource to people that know things well and have them do those things. You don't have to do everything yourself. I don't have to go and learn how to become a developer. It's going to take years, and it doesn't mean I should just completely not do something just because I can't do one aspect of it.
That's right.
There's going to be tons of aspects I can't do. And that's why you have companies, with, C-level employees that are doing all these different things. And that's part of it. You want the best person for the best job.
Wow, this has been an absolutely wonderful interview, Adam. You've just given so much value. I thank you so sincerely. How do people find you? How do they get in touch with you?
If people go to lfgnexus.com, or that's where you'll see your page. You'll see a little bit more of what we're doing. From there, you can click the link. You could actually go in and join our platform. Like I said, things are still working on. We're still working on things, but it's in a good place. You still come in. You can talk to people, have your friends, build groups, talk about stuff. Additionally, we're on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/LFG Nexus, or Twitter, just at LFG Nexus, and Instagram as well, again at LFG Nexus.
Wonderful.
And, so that's usually just the easiest way. We do have a mailing list that once you kind of join the program, we get people into that as well, where you'll know what's going on. For example, we'll have something come out a little bit later today that says, here's some things to expect in the beta that will be coming out in a couple of weeks. Or that, we just got picked to do a pitch at the Atlanta Tech Village for 5 minutes in front of investors and other people in the industry.
Beautiful. That's fantastic. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're really excited.
So is there anything else you want to talk about or bring up, or I didn't ask, before we wrap this up?
Just always just keep pushing, keep working. Just, it's tough. One of the best things that I can tell you, is being an entrepreneur is your mindset. That is going to be huge. You're going to just have crappy days. There might be a couple in a row. You just got to, kind of rise up. You got to push on. You got to move through. It's not easy, especially when it's all on you, or maybe you're counting on your friends to help with stuff and things fall through, or it's, you got to work on the weekends or do different things. Like right now, you're missing a thing for me, which I really appreciate. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I would never have asked you to do that if I know that. But just
it's good for my wife to get to go to those events too.
And you just got to be
just be me learning sales and marketing.
True, and that's right. If you find a partner, that'll make your life a lot easier. Especially someone that complements the things that you don't have or that you're not good at, and it's okay. Sometimes you just got to face, I'm not good at this, and that's okay. No one's perfect at everything.
All right.
So
fantastic, Adam, Gerstin, thank you so much for coming on today. We really genuinely appreciate it. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Guys, feel free to check us out. If there's anything else I can do, please let me know. I love, trying to, again, share the information that I've learned with others.
All right.
And there's something about it. I really enjoy doing that.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you again so much. And Gamerpreneurs, you all take it easy. Hey, if you like this podcast, I'd love to invite you to check out a little bit more about me, Dr. Bradford Carlton, Gamerpreneur. If you go to my website, www.thegamerpreneur.com/bonus, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, The Warcraft of Business, where I explain my history in both gaming and business and how I brought the two together in order to create some very successful companies and help a lot of people. And all you got to do is pay for shipping and processing, and I'll send you this book. I absolutely know you're going to love it. All right. You all take it easy.